It's Chris from Age of the Geek podcast. I am about to go watch Thunderbolts with my father.
Hi.
I am very much looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it since it came out about 2 weeks ago, a week ago. I will be making a video with him in the car on the way back, talking about everything, and he won't let me talk about it beforehand.
I am actually. I have low expectations because it's a Marvel movie, and the last 5 Marvel movies, well, they've all sucked. So I was excited about this until I realized it wasn't the Thunderbirds, those marionette puppets from the '60s, but the Thunderbolts that no one's ever heard of in their entire life. So, we'll see.
I've heard of them. Also, I'm looking forward to it because one, it's Bucky again. See, Red Guardian. We're not going to talk about some of the others. I mean, the new Black Widow, but also because it's going to have Sentry, and I love Sentry, and this is going to be awesome. But I'll see you guys. The next video will be the immediate reaction to this movie, so we'll see you then. Hey guys, it's Chris from Age of the Geek podcast. We had just finished up watching Thunderbolts, and now we're headed home. Father's still here?
I'm still here.
Yep. So initial thoughts, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. What are your thoughts?
I have to admit, I went into it with very low expectations. I was expecting it to suck. So my first opinion is it didn't suck.
Also, forgive the shaking. I am holding my phone, so if it's a little bit shaky,
that'll be fine.
It's not much I can do about it, but it'll be okay.
I have to admit, I was pleasantly surprised. This was like the standard Marvel movie back before Marvel started sucking. I mean, if this had come out in 2013, you'd go, "Oh, that was a pretty good Marvel movie." But now you're like, "Oh my goodness, what about this thing out of the wild? How in the world was this allowed to be made? I thought Marvel was supposed to suck now." Anyway.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was good because it was actually good storytelling. Almost, not for once, but it was good storytelling for what Marvel movies are nowadays.
It was well written. I love movies that are well written.
And the characters were all well written. I'm glad they got rid of. That's kind of don't spoil it. This is going to be a spoiler free section. I'm going to do a spoiler full section here in just a little bit. But they got rid of a character that I didn't like, that no one really likes early on, which is great because, yay.
I will say this. If you have seen the video that we did where he explained Century to me, that was a very, very, very complicated backstory. I like this one better. This one was simpler.
This one was a lot simpler, and they did it a lot better.
Yeah. Backstory of this one is dude's got issues.
That's it. Backstory of the comics is dude's had issues. He's always been there, but no one remembers him because reasons, and he always comes back, and then the boy always comes back. This one was they gave him stuff, and his dark side and
shouldn't have.
His bipolar now has powers. His good days are the Sentry, and his bad days are the Void, which they took a while to explain in the comics.
I love the fact that it was humorous. I mean, a good chunk of it was funny. And now, granted, they brought in the Red Guardian for comic relief, and he did a good job as comic relief. Plus, this was actually irritating. There are way too many old jokes in it. There are way too many references to people being old. I got all of those jokes. I thought they were fantastic.
And they're all funny because he's old, too.
Anyway, I thought it was... If you liked Ant-Man, if you liked Thor, #1, this was good. This was what I expected Marvel movies to be like before Marvel started sucking. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very good movie. It had a good plot. It was emotional when it needed to be. It was funny when it needed to be. Bob was funny.
I didn't realize it was going to be so focused on Scarlett Johansson's sister. What's her name?
Yelena.
I didn't realize. Does she have a superhero name?
Well, she's the new Black Widow, technically.
Oh, she's not the White Widow. Her hair is white.
Her hair is blonde, but yeah. She's going to be, or at least that's what she is now. She's like the new Black Widow.
She was essentially the main character of the movie,
yeah. Yeah, they started off with her and kind of ended with her, which makes sense, we saw her only once so far in the Black Widow movie. So it makes sense that they're showing more of her, making her more of the main character, and bringing her story up along with Bob. And I like that they kind of not put them together. It doesn't feel like there's a romantic thing there. It's just like they both messed up and she was trying to help him, and it was good. I liked it. It was an actual good story.
I have one continuity beef with the movie, which is the way that Alexei, whatever his name is, the Red Guardian, talks. Because I distinctly remember at the beginning of the Black Widow movie, when they were pretending to be a regular American family, he talked like a regular American, adjectives and pronouns, and not me Russian, make me, you know, they had it talking like you've never heard English before. Yet at the beginning of the Black Widow movie, he's got a regular old Ohio accent as he's talking. So did he fully forget how to speak English? But anyway, that's how
I think it was funny.
it was fun. It just was weird because he used to be able to speak English.
I think it was better. Like, yeah, he probably could have spoke English, but maybe he just probably not forgot along the way. I mean, that was back in the 80s, I think, for them. So it probably may have forgotten. At the same time, I think it was better. It's funnier that way.
And what is Dollar General's Captain America made out of?
His name is U.S. Agent. Whatever. At least I don't know if they've actually called him that yet in the movie or in the series. From what I know, it's not vibranium. I'm pretty sure it's just a hunk of iron.
Because it sure stops bullets like it's more than just, steel.
As far as I know,
I don't think back like it's more than steel.
I don't think it's vibranium.
Oh.
It doesn't look like it's vibranium. It looked like it was legitimately just a hunk of iron.
The really bland, evil person from Ant-Man 2, the chicken who walked through walls, Ghost. Was this whole sound wave thing some sort of comic book? Is that her version of kryptonite? That's how you control her?
She has to I think they said she's going to do it for me. I think something about I don't remember if it was holding her breath or so she has to focus on disappearing. The suit keeps her from disappearing, and she has to focus on using the power in her body going through stuff. So if they use the sound, she can't focus anymore and she can't do anything.
Gotcha.
At least I think that's what it was.
But it was a pretty good mix of backstory. I mean, they didn't really go into the backstory of individual characters, which is kind of nice. Honestly, it reminded me a lot of Avengers 1. How they sort of
it did
came together for a reason. Yeah, I mean, this is like the Dollar General version of Avengers 1.
And kind of like in Avengers 1, I'm sorry, I moved my hand because my arms are tired. Kind of like in Avengers 1, they kind of all started off
hating each other,
trying to kill each other. I mean, Iron Man and Thor, first movie, tried to kill each other, and they're like, oh, well, Loki bad guy.
Hulk and Thor tried to. That was the funniest part where Hulk and Thor were fighting.
Yeah, I liked it though. I liked it. And, okay, now into the spoiler film.
Oh, the chick in the beginning. They kind of pulled it 30 seconds in.
Taskmaster.
And what is Taskmaster?
Taskmaster is supposed to be another one of those where they just gender swapped up for no reason. As far as I know, I don't think there's a version of in the comics a version of the Taskmaster who is a woman. So they just sure why not? But Taskmaster is I forget his name. He is technically a metahuman in the comics where he has the ability to he can see people do moves and he can copy them perfectly.
Is he immune to bullets?
No, he's just besides being able to copy people's moves, that's it.
Because
he's also just he's a little bit faster than he's not like a super soldier, but he can copy people's moves by watching them. So he can while he's fighting a Captain America, at first he may start losing, but then after fighting him for another minute or two, he's perfectly copying his fighting style and starts winning.
He sure got killed easily enough.
Well, that was a she, and I don't know if they actually did that with her. Maybe there was a scene. It was part of the scene where she was fighting the ghost, and she kept shooting. She would shoot, and she would try to shoot at different angles and at different, towards her face, towards her legs, towards her midriff, and Taskmaster kept blocking all of it, almost like she knew it was coming. So maybe they did that, but I also
this version just seemed like cosplay with a gun.
I think she was a Red Room girl. I think she was a widow.
Oh, okay.
That's what I just think she had. Instead of using what the other widows use. I think she had something different. But yeah, no, I'm glad they got rid of her quickly. As far as I know, no one who actually likes the comics or anything likes her. We do not like Taskmaster.
I'm only assuming that she was incinerated along with everything else in that room, so she ain't coming back.
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, she probably, unless she got out somehow, she dead. And they didn't have any indication that she got out. So unless they just retcon like, oh no, she lived, then. But there's an opportunity they could bring in the actual Taskmaster, who sometimes is unironically funny. There was this comic panel I saw on TikTok the other day of he was fighting Hawkeye. Hawkeye shot an arrow at him, and he caught it. And he's like, "You can't shoot with the arrows anymore because I know when they're coming. I know how you work." And then it blows up in his face.
I seem to recall this version of Taskmaster cutting a bow and arrow.
You know, Taskmaster uses shield, a sword, and a bow and arrow, and I don't think he ever uses. If he does, I think occasionally he uses guns. He prefers the more. I don't know.
Yelena doesn't have any superpowers.
She's a widow. That's all she is. Black Widow didn't have superpowers. She was just a super spy.
Yeah, but she's like 5 foot nothing and 100 pounds. You know, physics is still physics. She can fling herself at somebody and bounce off.
She's good at what she does. She's an assassin.
Still, she's, you know, there's a limitation to how much physical force she can exert.
That's what she has guns
she was
and
punching people. It's like, I'm not sure if that punch really landed like that.
Some, but
I'm critical.
He's being extremely critical on a fake character. And besides, there are real people who do that exact same kind of thing. So physics be damned. They don't actually. It doesn't work like that.
The story was good.
The story was good. The way they brought in Sentry was good. He just kind of stumbled out.
That was funny.
That was funny. The whole I'm Bob was when Bucky had them caught and he said Bob, and they all went wow, and Red Guardian's like moving Bob.
That was funny.
I enjoyed the whole movie. I liked how they didn't make it ha funny the whole time. I liked how it seems like with U.S. Agent John Walker, at first,
Captain America.
Yeah, at first they were kind of making fun of him for failing as Captain America. I like the thing he said about when they said he shot an innocent
civilian, whatever.
Yeah, innocent civilian. Well, that innocent civilian, you probably don't remember, in Falcon and Winter Soldier was the one who killed his friend. Killed his friend who was... Sorry, scratch my nose. Killed his friend who was with him trying to track down the terrorists. That innocent civilian was a terrorist who had just surrendered. Now, yes, he shot an unarmed terrorist who had just surrendered. At the same time, they killed his friend in cold blood and in a pretty bad way. So, at the same time, yes, he did some bad things, but who in Marvel hasn't? People, that's one of the things about U.S. Agent that is, they tried to make him unlikable. They tried to make him all these things. They're like, oh, he killed people. What did Iron Man first do when he got his first suit? He burned a bunch of terrorists alive as he was walking out the cave.
That's true.
He blew up lots of people. He killed lots of people.
So I thought it was a good, I don't know what they're going to do with these people.
I have no idea what they're going to do.
I love the whole Thunderbolts as brought to you by, Bob's Auto Shop and Repair. That was hilarious.
Shame. But yeah, no, it was. I like that part. They were like the idea of the name came about with just like, I'm sorry, my hand is really shaking. The idea of the name came about with I was my former Pee Wee soccer thingy. That was funny. And like I said, this spoiler full part, which is obvious because I talked about how Taskmaster died. Makes you rest in pieces.
Ashes.
Yeah, the ending. They're the Avengers now, and I knew it from the beginning.
So the whole title of the movie is a one-off because they're never going to be. It's not like we're going to have Thunderbolts 2. Because now they're not Thunderbolts anymore. They're Avengers. That's kind of boring. I like Thunderbolts.
No, Thunderbolts is a good name, but that's what they did. That's what happens with the comics all the time. Like Suicide Squad, where they're a rotating cast of of bad guys being used. The Thunderbolts were a rotating cast of anti-heroes and some bad guys being used by the government. This sounds familiar.
Now the ending there, the post credit scene, was the Fantastic Four crossing.
That was their ship, yeah.
Okay.
So my question is, why was the Fantastic Four ship why did it cross dimensions into the MCU? What happened? Did they lose to Galactus, or is there something worse coming that they need help or had to run?
Well, if they need help, I'm not entirely sure if Dollar General Avengers is going to be the help they need.
No. Now, another thing that I keep saying on TikTok is the whole Sam Wilson doing a copyright claim on the name Avengers. That's kind of petty. Like I've always liked Sam, but recently they've made him a bit more annoying. I don't know. Just that's such a petty thing to do.
That kind of veered into the Amazon Boys thing with the company that controls all the
bot. Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely the Avengers are now completely under government control, and which is what they fought, split apart for to fight Civil War against.
True.
Yeah, Cap was like, we can't have government control, like a little bit of oversight, maybe, but they can't have complete control of us because what happens when, there's something happening in an American city that's not that bad, but they call the Avengers because it's, congressmen. And instead, there's a
president or a regular thing.
Yeah, or there's like a bomb going off somewhere in another country, but they're like, oh, well, we told you to go here. You can't go over there.
Yeah.
So,
well, I will say this to wrap up. This was probably the best Marvel movie that I have seen since Endgame. I guess Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3 is great.
Given the fact that I was tricked into watching Doctor Strange.
He was not tricked. I just forgot to tell him that it was Marvel's first attempt at a horror movie, and he doesn't like horror movies. Actually, my buddy watched it with us, and when they showed like the first horror-esque scene of, I think, Scarlet Witch crawling out of the mirror, my buddy repeatedly started to punch me. He got mad at me and was very mad at me after the movie. It was like, you didn't tell me it was a horror.
So if you've not seen a movie, if you're like I have, and you haven't gone to movie theaters to see a Marvel movie since Spider-Man 3, then you think, oh, look, Marvel's still doing their thing. If you didn't know that everything that happened that was crap in between then and now, you'd think, oh. So anyway, I would highly recommend. I haven't even recommended a movie. This was the best Marvel movie to come out in the last 5 years. Was that Rock movie that was actually DC.
Black Adam.
Yeah. So apart from Black Adam, this is the best Marvel movie to come out in the last little bit. Well, since the Endgame. So
Spider-Man 3 was good.
Solid.
What other movies came out since then? No. We're not going to talk about Quantumania. That wasn't.
Or Thor 4.
That didn't happen. Yeah, no. There's been not so. The second Black Panther movie was
Eternals.
I liked Eternals. What? I like Eternals also. I forget that it's going to sound loud with this, but well, I get that. Yeah, no, I enjoyed the movie. The post-credit scene was funny where Avengers with a Z, the Fantastic Four, for some reason, is showing up. It's probably not a good thing. Which I am also very looking forward to, the Fantastic Four movie. We're going to see that too.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to go see that too.
What are the odds that Marvel can put out 2 good movies in a row?
The Fantastic Four looks amazing. It looks so good. You even said you like some of the look of it with the retro 50s futuristic.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
They missed an opportunity for them to ask Reed Richards a question and have him say, this is the way. And on that note.
Yes, and on that note, that'll be it for this week's video. Next week, guess we'll both find out. Have a good one.